What's going on, guys? It is Mason of Delphine here today, and E3 2017 is very quickly approaching, and today I have a very special guest to discuss the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC coming to the Nintendo Switch and Wii U later on this year. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
What's going on, guys? I am Jacob. My YouTube channel is Jacob Zacharina. Yeah, I guess I could characterize myself as a pretty big Zelda fan.
Definitely, this dude does a lot of fun Nintendo streams, plays a lot of Nintendo games and all that stuff, so if you're into that kind of thing, awesome videos as well, go check him out, link down in the description. So, Jacob, how are you? You ready to see this E3 thing that's happening?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. I'm so stoked for E3, like, oh.
It's so soon, like, straight up.
I think I've been watching content on it for the last 6 or 7 years, so yeah. This is like a dream come true for me.
Like, really, I understand that. What was your first E3, just out of curiosity?
Probably 2010 or 2011. Okay,
mine was 2012, I think. So, you know, yeah, obviously, we've seen it. Every year, I request off work for it. You know, it's something, it's like Christmas for us, I feel like, right?
Oh, for sure.
In a way. You're right,
for
yeah.
Sure.
So, obviously, 2014 was a pretty exciting E3 conference where we saw the premiere trailer of Legend of Zelda for Wii U at the time. Which was then became known as Breath of the Wild later on. What were your initial thoughts on this game? Like, just after playing it, I mean.
After playing it, I thought it was a good game. I mean, like, the whole game just in general is just awe-inspiring at how clean and how well put together it is.
Right.
There's almost nothing structurally wrong with the game. And it's just a good experience to play through. Just the whole world and everything in it is just absolutely magnificent. Gosh, it's just so pretty.
Right. I mean, there's just a lot. Like, this game is like, it's one of those games like I personally didn't expect it to do as well as it did. Considering
I did.
Do what?
I did.
See, I mean, in a way I did, in a way I didn't. No, I mean, I expected it to do, like, better than any Zelda practically ever. But in terms of, like, attachment rate, there's 102%, like, from, like, the people that got the game, the people that got the Switch. I mean, obviously it was on Wii U also, but that's not the point. The point is, more people bought the game than people that bought the Switch, which is absolutely incredible for Nintendo. And for everybody to enjoy themselves with this game the way that they have is absolutely amazing. I feel like their charm's kind of coming back through games like this. And like Mario Odyssey coming out later this year, I mean, they're just kind of putting a lot more focus into things than they usually have, from what I've noticed, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, definitely it's a very amazing game. I love it. At first, though, it took me a minute to get used to, like, the open air factor. Like, it was my first open world game, actually. So, it was, like, I was trying to, like, kind of get used to it. And I wasn't the biggest fan of it in the beginning for, like, the first 6 hours. And that was dumb, I know. But it was, like, it was overwhelming, really. But after I played through, you know, I realized exploration was, like, the key factor into making it a fun time, you know. There's just so much it has in it, though. You know, I beat the game. I got the Divine Beast. I finished like 60 shrines or something like that. And then I checked my completion rate after you beat the game. That's what comes up on your map screen.
Yeah.
I had like 15% done. I'm like, hold on. Like, there's that much more to the game. And it's just incredible how detailed and how focused they were in developing it. But it's definitely something else, though.
Yeah, no, I could definitely agree with that. When I first started playing, I didn't dislike the game when I first started playing, because I went in very open-minded about what this game was going to be. I didn't expect it to be like a conventional Zelda game, but it did take me getting used to, because right before I had just come off of doing a complete run-through of Wind Waker, and I was going through a live stream series of Ocarina of Time. So you have two of the most conventional Zelda games right there going into the least conventional Zelda game, and I was really bad at it. The whole combat system, everything involving it. If you watched any of my streams, everybody was saying how bad I was.
I'm just bad at Zelda in general, though, so this is like a step up for me.
Yeah.
I feel good. I finally beat it like a month ago or something, or like maybe 2 weeks ago, or it was a while ago, actually. I don't know, but you get the idea. And I was glad that I beat it, because I didn't want to be the one out of anybody else that didn't. You know, you know, I've beaten Wind Waker, Link Between Worlds, and that's, I think, Twilight Princess, and that was it. You know, every other Zelda game I played, I haven't beat. And it's just like, there's times I just rage or whatever. And that was the case in Breath of the Wild too. And like, I never really rage quit, but I just got frustrated a lot. Like, when you're climbing the rocks in the rain, it starts raining every single time you want to climb something. That's the most annoying thing ever, straight up.
So bad. It was so
Right.
bad.
But it made the game so good. It put a challenge in it that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And it was nice because it was random. It wasn't like scheduled rain or anything, obviously, because when does that happen at all? But it was just a nice new throw-in kind of thing, and I'm glad it's the way it is because it made it a lot more fun for me in the end. But it was definitely something that people just adored in the end, I feel like. But now, since that's all said and done, they're releasing DLC, obviously. And I mean, I think it was like $20 for both packs or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't bought it yet.
Right. Okay, well, I haven't either, so obviously we're in the same boat there. But it's something like that. And DLC Pack 1, a while ago they dropped an image, Nintendo, they tweeted it, I think, or something, detailing what it was actually pertaining to. You know, DLC Pack 1 had like a new Cave of Trials challenge, new hard mode, additional map features, whatever that was supposed to mean. And then they went on to say that that was actually the Master Trials, and then for like the new Trials challenge. And then the new map features include like showing paths taken from the last 200 hours of gameplay or something. It was just like, it's incredible to see all that being implemented. And it's stuff people wouldn't have thought of beforehand, which is really an interesting thing, I feel like. Just to be able to backtrack, see where you haven't explored yet, and all that good stuff. But, you know, it's just crazy. Like, how can they add more to this game? It's beyond me. But it's Nintendo, so they did it. But, I mean, it's definitely something cool.
You know, I'm really interested to see where they go with these new features. With looking at DLC Pack 1, because I mean, a hard mode is pretty self-explanatory, but you know, like what kind of map features are they gonna throw in? You know, the whole showing the past 200 hours of gameplay where you've gone. You know, that's a pretty easy tool, or that's a useful tool, you know, when it comes to exploring. But you know, like, you know, what are the Master Trials gonna be? You know, what are these new trials that they're gonna implement? Are they just gonna be extra shrines, or is it gonna be like a map addition that we're gonna see coming to the game?
Right. And they had the Summer Pass, which was, I forget what was on that, and that's not really relevant to this considering, you know, that's already out. But the DLC Pack 2, they've talked about a new story, new dungeon, additional challenges, and that's something that I feel like it's kind of the bigger DLC pack of the two of them, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely, because a new story, I mean, I just want to ask you, how could they go about this? Because it seems so amazing to begin with. And, I mean, it kept people focused for, like, 60 hours at the very minimum for most people.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just one of those, it sucks you in. It's like the story was so good, with voice acting and everything this time. And I don't know what they could do to possibly make it different.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know. Personally, I think sometimes the story in the game was a little sparse.
Right.
Because, you know, the game was so open world and they didn't want to make you feel like there was a linear path. And so when you wanted to experience the story, there was a lot of it that you could go and find, but you could go and play through the whole game, and the only story you get is what you experience on the Great Plateau. So I think maybe what they'll do is they'll kind of maybe expand on what we saw. Maybe they'll introduce more memories, or even like something where you can go back to the past. Because like, I would personally really like to see more story involving Zelda, because like, personally, this Zelda that we've seen, like, there were times where I didn't like her, but then there were also times where I was like, dang, this is a very interesting character, especially after exploring Hyrule Castle and reading through her diary and everything. I was like, I want to know more about this Zelda, like, you know, and we only got the memories from her, so that's something that I would personally like to see them go more into.
Or even, like, after, like, Calamity Ganon is defeated, or if they could build off of that, or something, you know, what would happen after Hyrule is saved, and obviously would he come back, you know, is he set to rest forever, and something new happens, you get it, you know, it's a video game. But it's definitely something that, I mean, I don't think anybody can just predict exactly what's going to happen, because, like I said, this is Nintendo, and this is Zelda, and, you know, it's their game, we're not making it, but it's nice to speculate on, obviously. And it's just really cool, though. But you mentioned memories. What if they did playable ones? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I would actually really enjoy that. And that sounds like a great idea.
I mean, I've heard people mention it before, but it's like I had to sit here and think about how that would even happen. Like, if you had to do a certain, this sounds really stupid, just to do a certain move and then trigger some kind of memory, something. But that was like in the scenario that there are a lot of memories instead of just like 13 or something. But in like a lot of smaller chunks, kind of. But that would be really dumb, I feel like. But instead of that, like, what if I don't even know. Would you have to just go find new locations, or I feel like they're just gonna try to do something different again with it, or almost do this task to trigger this memory instead of just go to the spot, which is I think it would be really cool to see playable memories, because obviously those were where a lot of the character development took place. You kind of see their past, how they were like interacted and all that stuff. And just as characters, they really, they were very well shaped out, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just something I like to think about. Obviously, like, I keep mentioning this, they're going to do what they want, but it would be cool. So they mentioned a 5th dungeon in the DLC Pack 2, and that makes me think, would that kind of follow in with the new story? How, we had the 4 Divine Beasts. What if they added a 5th one, and where would it come from? And, how would it interact with the other ones? And it's just like, if they have a whole new story, these Divine Beasts, if they're even here, may work in a whole new way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the new dungeon will definitely tie into the expanded story that they're putting in.
Right.
I don't personally think it's going to be a new Divine Beast, because unless there's like a forgotten hidden one that they never discovered. Maybe it will be something like, A Link to the Past, where you go to like the Dark World, and there will be a section of the map. Obviously not the whole map, because that'd be rewriting a whole game. But maybe a section of the map that another Hyrule castle that we have to go in, and there's another enemy, Ganon-like enemy that you have to go and hunt down and defeat. There's a lot of ways I personally think that they could go with it, even maybe like a grand trial with the shrines or something that you discover.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely there's a lot of options I think that they have.
There's ways you could go about that. That's
dungeon.
actually a really interesting idea. I like that. But I mean, for me, I like the Divine Beast, but it was almost like there were some that just felt a little too easy.
Yeah.
Like Rudania,
sure.
especially. That one was like cake. But it's a lot to take in, because considering how large and expansive this game was, we all have our favorite parts of it. We all have the memories that we share with it now, pun not intended, because of the game, you get it. But it's like, I'm gonna be so excited this winter just to play it. It's gonna be like a whole new Zelda game, but not, and it's gonna be so cool. Like, it's gonna be like a part 2 kind of thing, maybe, or something. But I just feel like it's possible they would talk about this at E3. I don't know. Since they're talking about like holiday titles and stuff, I don't see why they wouldn't discuss this, considering it's a whole new story and stuff. It would kind of hype people back up again, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll go straight into detail about what the DLC is gonna be. I think because obviously Nintendo has pulled away from having their own press conference at E3, and they have their digital event now. I think that they're definitely gonna announce, obviously, their new games and everything. But I think they're going to mention the DLC, but I think they're just going to kind of more hint at what they're going to do. And then they're going to do the whole thing where like a month before, they're going to go and have like Nintendo Direct that's going to go in depth about the new DLC. And then, with all the details of what it's going to be about.
That's a good point, because they have been doing that lately. I mean, they've had a few Nintendo Directs before E3 even happened this time around. So kind of detailing games, that's a good idea. I mean, considering it's already out and it's just DLC, maybe they would do something along those lines. But overall, though, is there anything else you think we should talk about to kind of mention what's going on or what could potentially happen?
I kind of want to go back to the playable memories, because I think that's a great place that they could go and expand the game into. Because personally, I thought that the characters that Daruk, like, I loved Daruk as a character, but obviously he was dead, so they couldn't have him a lot in the game. So I think going back and having these playable memories where you could possibly go back and do battle with the champions, I think that would be really cool. Oh my gosh,
personally. Dude, that's an incredible idea.
Or even if you don't do battle with them, just have some more interaction with them that we could see, because I think they introduced these great characters Rivali personally wasn't my favorite, so I could mind not seeing him.
Wait, which one?
Rivali.
Oh, Rivali. I liked Rivali. I mean, I feel like in general, I mean, all of them had such distinct personalities, you know?
Yeah,
and
that is
Rivali
fair.
had this, like, I'm better than you, cocky kind of attitude. But at the same time, you know, in the end, he kind of accepts. Oh, I'm not gonna say that for spoiler reasons. But
Yeah.
you get it. You get it.
Yeah.
You heard the one word, so it might trigger something. You knew what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I know
but
what you're talking
in terms of just personality, I mean, he developed pretty well. I feel like I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daruk was good. Yunobo was pretty silly, I thought. And Urbosa, I think, or you get it. I don't know how they pronounce that. It was like she was almost like she seemed pretty stagnant. Like she didn't seem like she had that much effect on the entire story overall.
Yeah.
And you know, I feel like in terms of the 4 champions, you know, she was probably my least favorite. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I would like to see a lot more character development, kind of along the lines of what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of if you were in the past, even, you know, interacting with them, that would be really cool to see. Kind of see how things led into what they led into.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely I think that would be the easy way for Nintendo to do, or to go into with introducing a new story, is the same story just 100 years prior.
Right.
Seeing Link go through his troubles then instead of 100 years later.
See, that would be so cool. I love that idea. That needs to happen, straight up.
Although, it'd be kind of weird, though, because ultimately you know Link dies.
True. But, that's a good point. You know, I don't know. What if you could play as Zelda? What about that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
What would you do as her, though?
I don't know. Go destroy stuff? Just walk around and just, you know, use her little Triforce of courage and power and all that stuff and just seal darkness away once again. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like almost like a collaboration effort between Link and Zelda the entire way through, as like you said, kind of prior to the story taking place in what we have already played, would be epic. You know, just to even play as Zelda. I feel like that would be kind of the turning point where people would be like, okay, this is definitely new. This is fresh. You know, we've never done this before. Hyrule Warriors and stuff, that doesn't count. But this is like canon. You know, not to say Hyrule Warriors isn't, but it doesn't fit in with the timeline like this would. You know, as much, rather. It's not as relevant. But, you know, it would just be really cool to see. So, I'm not sure. You never know. I mean...
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think there's definitely multiple ways that they could go with the story. And I think that they left themselves with a lot of wiggle room for even future DLC after these first 2 packs that they could go and introduce new content. You know, I mean, look at, you know, most other games along the lines of this. You know, if you look at a game like Fallout, typically a lot of the DLCs introduce just new mechanics to the game. But, like, you look at Skyrim, where they had 2 full DLC packs that were just straight, just whole new storylines, essentially. So, they definitely gave themselves room to work with.
Right. And it's Zelda, even if they don't follow through with what we're thinking or, you know, our ideas, obviously, they're going to watch this video so they can get their inspiration. So, yes, no, I don't know. But, I mean, any last thoughts on it or anything? Think we covered everything?
Yeah, for the most part, I think.
I mean, I think the rest is just for us to figure out later on. Even if it's not at E3, of course, it's speculation. It could happen. We don't know. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you would like to see in the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild downloadable content for the Nintendo Wii U and Switch down below. And I guess that's it. Don't forget to go check out Jacob's channel. Hit that subscribe button on it and stuff. He makes some really fun stuff over on his channel. So, like I said, again, just go check him out. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will talk to you next time.